Hey, traders. Well, I wish I had a lot to talk about this week. Um, kind of a funky first week of trading. It started off really well. Um, looking at I forgot, I have traded so much back and forth nonsense this week. Looking at all my posts, pretty much I was on IMW, the dollar CAD. We'll talk about that one today. The dollar CAD, I took a long on that. Took about 5% profit on that. And just to go to that trade real quickly, is the CAD. So we had a huge sell-off this morning. And some people might say, Steve, what are you doing buying that? Well, let me explain this trade to you because it will make a lot of sense to you when you understand the trade. So, why did I buy this down here at these lows? Because this is something that you should never do unless you have a really good grasp of why things move and specifically where they're moving to. Now, the reason why I did that, if we take a look at the data here this morning, we'll see that today we had a slew of data, both US and Canadian dollar. Now, it was a double whammy. The unemployment rate dropped to 5.7 in Canada. So that was a big reason why the drop. Now you might say, why did that drop? Well, it dropped because, well, we'll talk about it in a second. But that's what precipitated the drop, because now basically a Bank of Canada rate hike is back on the table. The trade balance came in a little bit funky, and Trump is just crushing us. Right? Look at what's happened since Trump took office. I mean, we've always been like this, but there has been zero respite since he's taken office, and it's going to continue to get that way. Employment rate, as I just mentioned, and look at this big number here. Now, the expectation was 1.8 thousand. Why did 78,000.6 come in? Why? First of all, look at the stupid expectation. Why did that number come in? Bueller. Hello? Ho. Time of the year. Seasonal jobs. Okay, this is a one-time number, and you could argue that this was a one-time number as well too. Just seasonal work. Okay? This number right here, knowing it was seasonal, really gave me a lot of confidence that it was just a bullshit move. And as soon as I saw that, I started looking for a little bit of liquidity. And if we take a look at the daily dollar CAD, we will see that there was a level down here that was particularly resilient. There was a lot of rejection here. It acted as resistance, came back here, acted as support. So this level down here became really interesting to me. And so this is the level I started targeting. There was also, my students will understand, there was also liquidity at these two levels here. And so looking at that big picture, understanding that this was way overbaked, and that number was just completely seasonal. Yes, Paul is, and there's a lot of speculation that they're going to come out with a January rate hike. I don't see that happening. I would be shocked to death. So I wanted to be a buyer of the dollar CAD. Particularly, I wanted to be a buyer up here. I didn't get what I wanted to see at this level. I took a loss on a trade here. And so this was an easy, once we cleared these two liquidity levels right here, this was pretty easy for me to start looking for longs. Okay? So that's why I took a trade in that area. Just basically liquidity grab, good area. and this move was highly overbaked. I don't think we're going to get Canada's going to get a rate hike in January. Could be wrong. Even if it does, I would be shocked to death. But for the short term, I'm very bullish on the dollar CAD. Let me qualify that. NAFTA talks are going to go bad for Canada. Everybody knows that. And it's just a matter of time before that starts to kick in. Also, we do know that the Fed is going to raise 3 times in the United States. Canada, still questionable. So I'm still bullish dollar CAD. I'm just looking for a good place to get in right now. This was just a day trade. So that was the trade. And I thought I'd give you guys a good explanation on that because it shows you how you can start to use fundamentals, especially my students, with liquidity levels. And when things get overbaked, start looking for it. Now, the other thing I want you to take a notice of is that at the time when this move happened, it was down 1% on a day. Now, for those of you that don't know too much about statistics, a 1% move on a Forex pair is pretty large, all right? So you can, if you've got a combination of things, that's exactly what that was. A nice combination of overbaked liquidity, and also I think the move was bullshit. Okay? All right, so that's a good explanation of that. What else have I got going on? Well, the other day shouted out a short on the spider. Yes, I did. I know. I did. I really thought the Fed was pretty hawkish, and I shouted out a short on the spider. But I have been in this business for a very, very long time, and I know that whenever you short parabolic moves, like this particular parabolic move, you are going to get your ass handed to you. So, that being said, I did not take the trade naked. And you can go and see my posts inside StockTwits. Somewhere here. Inside StockTwits, you'll see my posts where I hedged it with an IWM long, thinking that I was going to be a genius. Well, that one did not work out. So just talk about frustration. So I also took IWM long, which if you don't know what IWM is a tracking stock for the Russell. And I took IWM long with it. Now, unfortunately, IWM, because of the marijuana stocks, yesterday and today really did not follow the market. So the trade is pretty crappy. I actually got within 15 cents of my target, and I would have had a beautiful profit on that trade. I would have closed the short side, the long side spider, and closed the long side IWM just 15 cents. But nah, the marijuana stocks beat me up. Okay, so that being said, I still like the trade. So what I actually did was I actually added to my IWM. And I added with quite a bit of size. Okay, you can see here it says covering some of my longs here with small profits. Such a dog shit trade because it was really painful. That was a really painful trade. I was upside down like almost 2.5%. And I usually don't like to go more than 2%. So, look at almost red today. You can see I was just bitching about this. Everything else is at all-time highs, and this dog is almost red. Anyways, I added to the IWM, so I was off balance. Okay, I still like the trade. There, I added to my long position on January 4th at 9.55. So the trade finally, with my addition, is only down about 0.4%. It was down 2.4%, but finally, after I added to the long side, the Russell, it's only down 0.4%. Now, I actually still have the long side Russell open with a smaller position, and I've exited the spider completely. So that was a hedge gone horribly wrong. And that's why I'm saying it was a really frustrating 2 days, especially yesterday when the spider just went solid green and IWM was solid red. Not only the spider, but the QQQ and the diamonds over 25,000. Everything went solid red except for my choice of hedges. Good job, Steve. All right. The trade's going to work out. I have a feeling that, I don't have a feeling, this looks like a launch pad to me. I have a feeling we'll be at 156 on Monday morning, assuming that, no massive geopolitical risks happen. Now, some of you might say, Steve, aren't you worried about holding this over the weekend without the hedge on? And the answer is no, I am not. Why? Because instead of holding the futures contracts, I closed all my futures contracts and I'm holding options. So now I'm limited in my risk, but still giving me nice upside potential on the trade. So that's why I say it was a bit of a funky week. The only other trade I have open right now is dogging out as well too, but it makes sense. MDXG, I am short this from 1296. Not terrible. Considering the market is at all-time record highs, it's not shocking me that this is a bit higher here. However, it's only underwater by about 30 cents. No big deal. I am looking for a target of under sub 10 on this eventually. I'm holding the stock short. It's costing me a little bit of money on the borrows, but I'm not too worried about it. If this level right here, this liquidity right here, does not hold, I may close the trade for a loss, and that'll be the end of that, and then I'll wait for a better entry on it a little bit later. But with the market going higher, pretty much everything's going high, so even dog shit goes high. Okay, so there's my trades for the last couple of days. I had a small winner on Tuesday, a loser yesterday, a winner today, so really mostly just a wash so far for the first week of 2018. And that's it. And thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed that description of that trade, especially my students that are studying the fundamental aspects of trading. And, when you're trading fundamentals, how to put the pieces together. Okay? Thank you, and bye for now.